Hey friends, here's a question from J.D. Riley in regards to the garden hoe video I did here a while back. Thank you for sharing. Is there a length the handle should be for the best working hoe? Also, which shape hoe do you think works best? Well, JD, a hoe, as we've mentioned in other videos, a hoe just needs to be, the handle needs to be long enough so that you can stand up straight while you're doing your work, because the skill of hoeing a garden is very, very surgical, because basically you're extending yourself all the way down to the ground where the plant is, and basically using that hoe blade, which should be fairly sharp, not sharp enough to shave with or anything, but sharp enough that you're disturbing the dirt and the weeds around your cultivated plant. So you need to be able to do that. I mean, if that plant were right here, you could, take a knife and just work it around real good, but you're 5-6 foot away from that thing. So this hoe needs to be long enough that you're an extension to be able to get that done and stand straight up, because you don't want to ruin your back, because you're going to be hoeing probably for the next, if you're healthy, 70, 80 years. So that's the answer to that. If you're a smaller person, you can let the excess just hang off up here, or for your kids, you might cut the handle off if you want to, and round off the end so that it's comfortable, and give them something that they can stand up and use as well. The next part of your question also, which shape hoe do you think works best? Well, as I mentioned in the video, my favorite tool about the hoes, part 1 and part 2, as I mentioned, there's several different shapes of hoes, and they have different applications, really. But if I had to have one, if I could only have one, it would probably be a draw hoe similar to this, that's rather narrow and, what is that, 4 or 5 inches long, 4.5 inches long or something, and sharp. Doesn't really matter if the edges are rounded or square or whatever, but something like this would have at least 3 good applications. You could hoe this way, you could turn it in and get even in between plants in a narrow way if you turned it this way, and hoe that way. Plus you can still draw dirt up with it if you're, say, hilling up potatoes. You've got enough of a blade there that you can still draw substantial amount of dirt up and work with it that way. So I guess probably a hoe like this. If not this one, maybe the crescent shape hoe. You can still draw a bit of dirt with this, but you can get even finer with that sharp edge right there and hoe this way, or turn it and hoe that way. So either one of those two, if I could only choose one or two. But why choose one or two? Collect all dozen of them, all kinds of hoes. The more the better. Can't have too many hoes. Hope that answers your question, JD. If you have a question you'd like answered on the show, please leave your question down in the comment section below. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and please share these videos. It really helps the show out a lot. Until next time, I'm Paul Mack. Thank you for watching, and we'll talk at you later. Will McGee, my papa had the same hat. A Southern Pitt, nice hat! Exclamation point. Mark W. Young, KY4UC. Thanks for sharing, Paul. Those overalls and that fedora hat reminds me of my grandpa. That's the only kind of hat he ever wore. Martin Parmer. I can't believe you wore your new hat while you were pulling them beans. LOL. Given how much I paid for it, me neither.